Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Believe Wrestling Podcast. I am your co-host, Miss Destiny Diamond, and alongside me, I have Mr. August Blaze. Take it away, my man.
Hey, today we are spit firing. We got some rapid fire stuff to get through today. We got all sorts of wrestling news. We got some matches to talk about, and of course, to kick the show off, what got cut off of the podcast last week, we gotta bring it up now. Our very own darling Destiny Diamond was at WrestleMania 41. What? So, Miss Darling Destiny Diamond, would you like to tell us about your experience?
I would love nothing more than that, and I love that you love the darling nickname.
So
I think
good.
that it is so fun. I love a good alliteration. All right, so for context, at WrestleMania 41, I unfortunately was not able to attend night 1. That's fine. Night 2 was the night to go to, and it was perfect. So, I arrived in Las Vegas for WrestleMania on Saturday at about 1 p.m. From there, I went and got lunch, took some photos at the airport, took some photos at the hotel, and then me and my husband headed over to the WWE WrestleMania Superstore, which is connected to WWE World, which had already closed by the time we got there. At WWE Superstore, the last time I went to WrestleMania was WrestleMania 32, and this Superstore was like 6 times the size it was when I previously went. It was insane. You had so much WrestleMania merch. You had merch for the superstars. There was an entire pavilion for autographed titles and artifacts from wrestling's past. You also had, there was a whole poster area. There were championships of all kinds. There were signed photos. And the highlight of it was that there was a championship. And it was a John Cena WrestleMania 41 themed title. The strap was glitter. It was signed by John Cena, and on it he wrote Final WrestleMania. And it was only the most reasonable price of $10,000.
Yeah, that checks out. That's
like, if somebody's gonna spend $10K on a WWE championship, please give them my number so they can buy that for me. Good God. There were 2 separate sections. One was of championships and artifacts, and one was like autographs and posters and all that different stuff. So I ended up hanging out. I left with this guy that I'm wearing right now, this amazing hat, and my husband picked out a pair of WrestleMania 41 themed boxer briefs.
I still think it's crazy. I think you're the only person I've ever met in my life who actually rocks the base WrestleMania merch. That's not like superstar specific. It's just like, ayo, WrestleMania. I guess it makes sense if you were there. So I'll give you that. I feel like if I went to an event, I would be a lot more attached to it. Yeah. I guess that's fair.
Exactly, because I have so much merch from WrestleMania 30 and WrestleMania 32. I don't have anything from any other WrestleMania, just these ones. So this is what I'm rocking today, obviously. So while we were at the WWE Superstore, I was watching WrestleMania on my phone, and I'm sitting there watching as Jey Uso makes Gunther tap out, and I'm just like, and me and the people that are around me are like, what just happened? And it was really cool. From there, we went back to the hotel, took a nap, and then we went to dinner, and we watched the main event on my phone at the dinner table, which was super awesome. After WrestleMania ended, we went back to the hotel room, got dressed, and went to The Undertaker's One Dead Man show, which honestly could have been the highlight of my weekend. We got there right around 9:30. There were maybe 20 people in front of us, and then the show didn't actually start until after 10, probably closer to 10:30, because it was such a hassle for people at WrestleMania to get to the event. But no worries, it was still an amazing show. I got the program book for it that was full of pictures of The Undertaker, and I got a little Undertaker stuffed animal, which is super adorable as The Undertaker can be, obviously. And he just talked about stories of WrestleMania's past. He talked about doing impressions of Terry Funk to get him work while they were drinking. Bryan Adams doing great impressions. He talked about The Godfather, the last time he was in Las Vegas doing a One Dead Man show, and how they drank an entire bottle of whiskey together in 20 minutes. And yeah, so part of it is during The Undertaker's show, he takes shots of Jack Daniels, of course, throughout the show. And there was a part of the show where there were Q&As, so fans could go up to the mic and ask The Undertaker a question. And I can't even tell you how many of those people asked to take a shot with him. And he literally kept saying, like, no, it's a liability. We legally cannot do that. But people kept asking anyway. There was this one kid that went up and asked a question. He goes, "Oh, Mr. Undertaker, it's so great to be here. I've been watching you since I was little. You know, I grew up on you in 07, 08." And he got booed out of the building.
Oh my God. Honestly, though, that was the best taker. If we're being honest here. 06, like 04 to like 2010 is just peak Undertaker. It doesn't get better than that.
It's so good, but everybody booed him because it's like, who is this child? Get him out of here.
This poor kid.
So no, he deserved it. His name was Brody. Like, he deserved it.
Okay.
So then sorry, I'm still so giddy about it. So then I'm seeing people kind of go up to The Undertaker's, like, I don't know if he's the PR person or if he's just the guy who runs the show, but they're going up to him and then they get to ask questions. And I had seen this guy going up to fans before the show saying, "Hey, you know, have you ever been to a show before? Is this your first one? Yada, yada." And I realized they were going up to see if they could ask questions. And I saw a couple of them get pulled. So I went up to him and I'm like, "Hey, is it too late to get in line?" And he said, "Well, what's your question?" So I said, "I want to know about WrestleMania 28 and where it aligns on his list of highlights of his career." And the guy said, "That's a great question. Put your name down." So put my name down. And then I sit down kind of close to him so I don't have to go all the way back to my seat. And then The Undertaker is talking about a question that was asked. And then he goes, "All right, I know we got to wrap it up, but can we do one more?" And the guy goes, "Yeah, we can do one more. Let's have Ashley come up."
Hey,
like,
to close the show, my girl. Damn, son.
I know. So I go up, and they're like, "Ashley from Seattle, everybody." And so I go up and I say, "Hello, Mr. Undertaker. It's an honor speaking with you tonight." And he says, "Thank you." And I said, "So, my favorite match of all time is WrestleMania 28, you and Triple H, with Shawn Michaels as the special guest referee, Hell in a Cell, end of an era."
And I do want to reiterate here, this is not Ashley blowing smoke. I have known Ashley since 2017, and from day one, this has not changed for her. This is her favorite match. So this isn't her just kissing ass. I'll back her up on this.
Thank you. Because people do that, but yeah, I am genuinely so serious. This match is the reason I'm a wrestling fan today. That feud is the reason I'm a wrestling fan today. So I said, there's also the incredible moment where the three of you are standing at the top of the stage together at the top of the ramp. Where does that moment rank amongst the highlights of your career? Top 5, top 10, where? And then I blacked out. Couldn't feel my legs. And so apparently what he said was along the lines of, "That's a great question. Thank you so much." And then I started to get my wits about me. And he said, "This wasn't just a one-time thing. This is a story that was 4 or 5 years in the making. You had WrestleMania 40... See, I can't even talk. I'm so excited about it. He said, you have WrestleMania 25, which is, he said, it's his personal favorite match of his career against Shawn Michaels. Then you have the streak versus the career against Shawn Michaels. Then you have the brawl against Triple H at 27, and then it culminates at 28. So this was the culmination of several years of storytelling, and how that moment was not planned. that moment was 100% organic. That was what they felt needed to be done in the moment. They read the crowd, they read each other, and they just embraced each other for the history that they had just created and the history that they had created over the last 20 plus years. And they took that moment at the top of the ramp, and he said it definitely ranks amongst the top moments of his career. And so I said, and that's why it's my favorite. Thank you so much. And I got a good applause, and then you can hear Tyrell in the background. That's my wife!
Of course.
Yeah. And then after that, he invited Phineas Godwin, of all people, out of the audience onto the stage.
No fucking way!
I know! He was just in the audience. He wasn't even planned or anything.
You guys don't
Somebody
know.
went up to the microphone and was like, hey, Phineas is out here. And he's like, bring him up. So they brought Phineas up and they did a shot together. I don't even know if they ended up taking the shot or not. They just talked about it. But then he closed the show, and yeah, his American Badass theme music plays, of course. But I didn't mention, when he first came out, of course, the bell tolled 2 or 3 times. But then he came out to Rollin' by Limp Bizkit. And I lost my freaking mind, because that's probably my favorite, like, other than the quintessential Undertaker music, that's probably my favorite entrance music of his. It's just so ridiculous and amazing. I love it. Yeah, that was, like I said, that was probably the highlight of the weekend for me, but that's because The Undertaker is either my number 1 or number 2 favorite superstar of all time, so that was just a mind-blowing experience for me. And then, of course, go to bed, wake up the next morning, and we headed straight to WWE World right at 9 a.m. when it opened. There were so many opportunities for photos and experiences. Right when you walk in, there are old WrestleMania signs that, you know, the ones that used to hang up in the arenas. Those are just down on the ground and hanging up in the rafters just for people to take pictures of and pictures with. Then there was the Pat McAfee show set, so I got a picture there. Stone Cold Steve Austin was doing a meet and greet, and let me tell you, I know those tickets were expensive. You literally got 3 seconds with Stone Cold to shake his hand, take a photo, and leave. That's it. That's all you got. It was nuts.
What?
There were... what?
What?
I know. That's what I said. And then there were some other VIP autograph signings with Booker T and Trish. And then there was an entire wall of championships for NFL and MLB teams. There was another autograph section, but it was only NXT superstars that I was less familiar with, so I did not go to that. That was the only free option, because I'm not paying extra. Back in the day, 10 years ago, you didn't have to pay extra except for maybe one person per day. Everybody else was free. Like, I met Million Dollar Man and Ron Simmons for free. I met Larry Zbyszko for free. I could have met Emma and Summer Rae for free. Like, I just met Eva Marie's husband walking around Access. It was insane. But, Fanatics took over and it's a money grab. I get it.
Yeah.
People will pay it. If there's going to be people to pay,
they're going to charge it.
Exactly. So then we kept walking around. There was an entire John Cena photo booth situation where you got to stand up on a little stage, a little stand, hold his spinner championship, and then the camera spins around you. I've posted that on my Instagram. Go check it out.
It was pretty good.
So good. So good.
I saw Tyrell as well in that. Pretty good.
Wasn't he killing it? He killed it. We went over to the tattoo pavilion and browsed the tattoos. Tyrell almost got one too, but he was less inclined than I was. And there was an entire wall of mannequins wearing John Cena merch throughout the years, like all of his outfits from the different eras of his career. Keep up with my Instagram for shots of that, because I have lots of videos and footage of that. There was an entire, basically a museum for Triple H and the 30 years of his career. I got to see the DX tank.
That's pretty cool.
The DX tank. It was awesome. They also had a lot of his entrance gears, like WrestleMania 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. But my favorite was they had his trunks from WrestleMania 28, and I took a picture of me like down on one knee praying to these trunks because that's, like I said, that's my match, that's my night, that's my everything. I have the dopest picture of me in front of his gear from WrestleMania 30 because, again, I was there. That was my Make-A-Wish. Just a bunch of memorabilia and a lot of ring gear from the Hunter Hearst Helmsley era, even Terra Rising. So there were a lot of photos and shots of that as well. There was an entire Topps trading card experience where you could go in and there was like this VR stage and it was kind of like Jey Uso up on the screen, and I don't really know what the point of it was. They really hyped it up, and then we were like, wait, that's it? And they gave us free trading cards. That was fun.
That's cool.
And so one of the first things we did was we got to go and watch the Slammies. So that was dope. It was hosted by Big E and Kathy Kelly with Austin Theory and Grayson Waller sitting off to the side. Later on, R-Truth came out and joined them, and he brought out his own chair and sat with them.
That's amazing.
A lot of cool people presented awards. Candice LeRae and Johnny Gargano, Mick Foley, Braun Strowman, Piper Niven. Lots of dope superstars. I'm pretty sure they've either put it on YouTube or on Twitter, so go check it out. But the highlight of the entire Slammy Awards was Mick Foley. Not only because I love him, but he came out and presented an award as Cactus Jack. Then he came out and presented an award as Mankind. And then he came out and presented an award as Dude Love.
That's pretty cool.
And every single time he said, oh, it's great to be here with you all for the first time tonight. This is exciting. Just like his Royal Rumble appearance. It was such a great callback, and I love that they did it. Oh, and they had so many things. As always, they have the superstar entrance ramp where you get to go and do your own entrance as a superstar. I unfortunately did not partake because the line was so terribly long and I didn't want to waste my time waiting in line. I wanted to be actively doing stuff. There were some NXT matches, and funny enough, that stage that they do the superstar entrances at is where the NXT stars did their entrances for their matches.
That's kind of cool.
So that was pretty dope, right? I didn't watch many of those, but I did get to see Dion Lennox of that one new stable that's kind of coming around. I can't remember the name, but my favorite was seeing Metaphor Girls, Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend. Like, those are my girls. They were so good. So good. I feel like I'm forgetting things. Oh, we got to hit a mannequin of Dominic Mysterio with a steel chair. That was also a highlight for me.
How dare you?
It was so good. I got to hit you in the face and your stupid mustache.
Jealous.
Yeah, maybe just because I can't grow one. It was so much fun. And yeah, like I said, I was telling August right before the show, I did officially sign up to get a tattoo at the Tattoo Pavilion at WrestleMania. And they said, yeah, awesome, come back at 2:15, you'll get your tattoo. And it was about 1 o'clock that they said this, and I was getting hungry. I'm like, okay, let's leave, go to WrestleCon, get some lunch, come back, get a tattoo. We left and went to WrestleCon, and while we were there, we were like, let's not do the tattoo. It's my first official tattoo. I would be sore for WrestleMania. I'd be sore for the flight. It probably wasn't the best idea. I have a high pain tolerance, but you never know how your first time's gonna go.
You would have been fine. You would have been fine.
I would have been fine. Like, see, But also, I'm like, do I really want a tattoo, or am I just high on the WrestleMania fumes?
You are 100% high on the WrestleMania fumes. I'll tell you that 100%. As well.
So, if I do want the tattoo, I have a picture of it. I'll get it done. No big deal. But
as somebody who has a tattoo they regret, who got it at a time that I was having a lot of fun and doing, like, I was with somebody I love, I don't regret the tattoo, as stupid as it is, because every time I look at it, it reminds me of the great time I had with the person I love. So, I don't think it would have been a bad thing regardless.
Is it the number 13?
No, I have a tattoo of Scooby-Doo on my chest, okay? Nobody's allowed to see it.
It's a great tattoo!
It's not a great tattoo.
It's a great tattoo. You will not talk bad about your Scooby-Doo tattoo. So, just to quickly go over WrestleCon, because it wasn't as big of a deal as we thought it was going to be, we showed up as it was closing. So as we're walking in, Kevin Nash is walking out, so Tyrell got to heckle him a little bit. I got to ask him to Too Sweet, but he was also 20 feet away from us, so didn't happen. We walked by Willow Nightingale and Million Dollar Man and a couple other people, which was cool. But when we went in, they were closing down shop. You know, there were still a couple a couple t-shirt stands open. So I got 2 shirts that say Hot Girls Love Pro Wrestling. One is black, one is white. I got to meet and shake hands with Mike Chioda, which was super dope. We walked around and we got to chat with Elias, aka Ezekiel, aka Elijah. So that was dope. And then
all 3 of them were there?
Yes.
Okay.
Then we got to chatting with RVD, Mr. Rob Van Dam himself, and his woman, Katie Forbes. And while we were chatting with them, he invited us to his WrestleMania after party on 420, his sacred day.
Which, now even more so, you should have done, because I don't know if you heard this, he can't walk right now.
I do know that because I didn't want to spoil it because I don't know if it's public knowledge, but he is in a wheelchair right now. He was in a wheelchair while we were chatting with him.
Oh, yeah. He was wrestling. I actually saw the match. He was wrestling in a battle royal. He came out at number 40, and the finals came down between him and Matt Riddle. I don't remember the name of the championship, but it was pretty crazy, and Matt Riddle last won by eliminating RVD, and he pushed this is not Matt Riddle's fault, I will say. I'm not a Matt Riddle fan in any way, shape, or form, but this was not his fault. He pushed RVD off the top rope as RVD was going for the frog splash. RVD went to the outside, and he went for his vintage Van Dam kind of spot where he lands on the barricade and kind of like the John Morrison that he did. And RVD said he kind of messed it up. He landed wrong, and he broke both of his heels, I think he said. So, yeah, he's not doing fantastic, but he just spoke about it on his podcast, so it is public knowledge now. But that's really cool that you didn't spoil that, because she told this story last week, and she didn't even mention that to me. Hello!
I know. I just didn't want to bum you out. I know that's your boy.
That was my first favorite wrestler when I was growing up. It was RVD. In fact, when I graduated college and they said my name at graduation, I did the RVD as they said my name. It was pretty cool.
We have footage of that, right? We have.
I don't think so. If we do,
I feel like
I'm pretty pumped, but
I'll get it for you because I think if anyone has it, maybe you're in contact with her, hit up Cassidy. She might have it. So after WrestleCon, we went back to the hotel to grab some lunch. Then we hit the monorail and headed to WrestleMania. And we were running a little behind. But I was like, you know what? It's going to be fine. We're not going to hit any of the pre-show, but we'll get there right in time. So then we get to the end of the monorail. We get off. We go to this hotel and I thought we were following signs to the Uber transportation area. Turns out we were not going that way. Tyrell was just following all the other wrestling fans, and we walked for 20 minutes in the wrong direction. So then we had to walk all the way back to get to the Uber rideshare area. So we were late. And I'm just sitting there in the back of this Uber crying because I funded this trip myself. So I'm just sitting there crying that I'm late for WrestleMania. And I was panicking because at this point, the news had broke that Bayley wasn't going to be in the damn match. And I was 99.9% sure it was going to be the man. And I was already really emotionally excited about it. I had already teared up about it. I was really excited. And I'm like, oh my God, that's going to kick off the show. And I'm not going to see Becky's return. I'm not going to hear the pop. So we roll up to the venue in our Uber. We get out. We sprint to the venue. We go through. There was no line, thank God, because we were late. The only thing we missed was Stephanie McMahon and Io Sky's entrance.
Wow.
I know. We got there in the middle of Bianca Belair's entrance. Now, here's the thing. We just go through security, and I see there's a merch booth. I'm like, okay, there's the merch booth. There's this. We need to find our seats. We go this way. And as I'm like pointing, I'm like, you're starting with the triple threat.
Yeah. Pissed.
And Tyrell was like, I don't know. I'm like, how can you start with the triple threat? Bonkers.
Yeah.
Bonkers. So we sprinted to our seats, sat down, and as you guys probably saw, I was dressed as John Cena. I had the hat, I had the shirt, I had the wristbands, I had the one that he wears around here as a garter on my pants, and I had the John Cena towel tucked in my pocket. So we're sprinting to our seats, we sit down, Bianca's in the ring, and I just start like crying. It wasn't as bad as in the Uber, but I grabbed the towel and I'm so sweaty because we were sprinting and I'm not in shape. So I just like wiped my whole face with this damn John Cena towel.
The last time is now.
So then I took a deep breath, I sat down, and out comes Mommy. And I'm pointing like this because I was so close to the entrance ramp, you guys. It was insane. We could see the entrances perfectly. It was amazing. And we had a really great view of the ring. There were times where it got a little difficult when everybody was standing up, but that's fine. It was still an immaculate evening. So, of course, the triple threat happens. The action was phenomenal. We had Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest, which was so fun to watch live, seeing Drew push Damian off the top rope when he's doing old school. Amazing. The Fatal 4-Way. This was my dad's favorite moment of the night. He was watching at home. Dominic Mysterio. I think I mentioned this last week, but the coolest thing to me was how big of a pop he got. I genuinely believe that the pop that Dominic Mysterio got when he won was louder than the pop that Jey Uso got when he won on night one. And the real part that was my dad's favorite was Dom's going up the ramp, he's celebrating, he's got his title, and then he just calls an audible, runs back to the ring to celebrate with all of his fans.
It's a really good
because
moment.
It was such a great moment, and he runs right past Finn going...
Finn's
so
like,
great.
what are you doing? It was the best part.
Oh, good. And the thing is, like, and I mean, here's the thing. That man is so beyond ridiculously talented. It's not even funny. I absolutely love to boo Dominic Mysterio. He has a dumbass mullet and a dumbass mustache.
I will end this call right now. I swear to God, Ashley, I have put up with physical and emotional and verbal abuse long enough from you. We ain't doing it no more.
Oh my god. So good. So I love to boo Dominic Mysterio. He's so great. I just rewatched the video where he's talking about all of his friends and driving around their new Mercedes, and all you give me is a BMW. Classic. He's just so fun to boo. And the fact that he finally got his moment and everybody was able to cheer for him was so beyond deserved. And we had Randy. This was my moment of the night, you guys.
Yeah.
This was my moment of the night. Because, like we said in episode 1, Augie thought it was going to be Solo Sikoa. I thought it was going to be Sami Zayn. I didn't know what was going to happen. But I certainly, if you had given me 100 guesses, never in a million years would I have ever guessed that we would say his name and he would appear, because I believe in Joe Hendry. Oh my God. Like, there are videos. And I lost my damn mind, you guys. This is my dude. This is my dog. This is my champion. The fact that the TNA World Heavyweight Champion had a match against Randy Orton in his 20th WrestleMania at WrestleMania 41. What is the world that we're living in? It's so cool. And Joe Hendry is so beyond talented and entertaining. Oh, I could not have predicted that in a million years. And just the pop that he got from the crowd, waving our hands side to side. Like, you can hear me in videos, in the background, Like, he's in the ring, and I'm still saying, what the fuck? Like, are you kidding me? There's no way this is happening. There's no way this is happening. It was so good, and it was so well done, and there could not have been a more perfect person to be selected to be Randy Orton's opponent at WrestleMania 41.
And a great match, too.
It was a perfect match. Yes, it was short, but it did everything it needed to do and showed off how big of a star and how talented Joe Hendry is. And the way he lost was so well executed.
It was.
He's doing his little showboating smile. RKO out of nowhere. Done. The end. Perfection. And then, of course, we have the show of respect afterward with Randy raising his hand, showing him off to the crowd, only to RKO him again.
It's Orton. It's gonna...
It was glorious.
It reminded me of the highlight reel where Jericho almost got RKO'd by Randy Orton. He went for it and Jericho blocked it. And then Orton started fake laughing and like slapping his leg. And Jericho was like, come on, man. And like put his arm down for a second. And then Orton immediately RKO'd him. It was so good. It just peak Orton energy here. And yeah, like you said, that zoom in on his face doing the classic Joe Hendry pose, and then you hit the RKO. The fact that it worked. It worked so well. One of the better RKO, not one of the best, but definitely one of the better RKO out of nowheres.
My dog, we've been on this call for like 30 minutes and my cheeks hurt from smiling ear to ear. This is so much fun. Okay, so then we had AJ and Logan. Great match, but the highlight was the pop that Karrion Kross got. I love AJ. I'm a huge Logan Paul fan. This is a great match. Not match of the weekend like we said it could have been, but it was still great, and those two told a beautiful story, and I'm excited to see where AJ and Karrion go from here. But then we had the moment that I had been waiting for with Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez defending against Lyra.
I love you so much. That was so funny. The moment I've been waiting for, the women's tag team match.
I said that it made me emotional. I said it made me emotional. But also the callback to last week
is peak. I feel like I cut that out, but Destiny Full Bore just skipped this match in our review, and she was like, she like cut me off, and she was like, and then finally the 17-time world champ, and I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And she goes, oh my god, cut that out, oh my god, cut that out. So the fact she just built it up like that again, where she was like, and oh my god, was pretty good. Peak
I love you.
Destiny energy there. All right, the
man making her triumphant return at WrestleMania 41. So perfect. I love that they got the win, but I love even more that they lost it the night after. Because there's no reason for Lyra Valkyria, of all people, to be carrying around two belts. Of all people!
Lyra Two Belts is a goddamn legend, sung of in folklore.
In your damn dreams.
Every night.
If anyone's gonna be carrying around two belts, it's gonna be Liv, it's gonna be Becky, it's gonna be Charlotte, it's gonna be Tiffany, it's gonna be Jade, it's gonna be Bianca, it's gonna be Rhea, it's gonna be Naomi, it's gonna be Alexa. Need I go on?
Okay. First off, several of those names, no, they're never gonna carry two belts. But the ones that you mentioned that could carry two belts don't need to carry two belts. Their name is enough for the star power. But now Lyra, for the rest of her career, can tote that fact that she is one of very few, very select people who have held two championships at the same time. It's a feather in her cap. Thank you.
You would say that. You would.
The wings are still the best part of WrestleMania Night 2. The wing hug between her and Becky Lynch. That'll never not be my home screen.
You could be wrong. I love that. But even though I think everybody knew it was going to happen, she still got an incredible pop, and she got an incredible night. She got an incredible victory and an incredible moment. I'm excited for Becky, and I'm even more excited to see what she does moving forward as a heel, turning on Lyra. I'm excited for her to win the Intercontinental Championship. Shall I build it up now?
I guess.
I guess. So, of course, the match that brought me to WrestleMania in the first place, John Cena, Cody Rhodes. I thought everyone's complaining. Everyone's complaining about John Cena not having a fancy entrance for his final WrestleMania. I get that. But when John Cena said, "We're getting nothing," we ain't getting nothing. Because he came out with that black screen, no fanfare, nothing over the top, just him and his towel walking to the ring. That's it. And it was perfect, and it's everything I could have asked for and more. I have to tell you, I had a little mini heart attack when it was Cody's time to come out and some music hit that was not Kingdom. Tyrell and I look at each other like, did he get new entrance music? Please, for the love of God, tell me he didn't get new entrance music. Thankfully, it was just for the motocross guys, which was super duper dope. But yeah, amazing. It was great. I loved it. Cody's amazing. I love cheering for him. I hate people booing him. It's so dumb. Like, quit being dumb. But it was that match was everything it needed to be. With John Cena being told his whole career you can't wrestle, and then he comes out and is literally wrestling. Like, the story that was being told was so beyond phenomenal. And Cody being amazing, doing everything he needed to do. Everything was great until Travis Scott. And I love how the arena still blew up when John won. So deserved. Congrats to the man. Congrats to the champ on 17 times.
Now, before we wrap... Actually, I'll do this right after, so that way I can...
I have the rules.
Well, I was going to say something in regards to WrestleMania 41.
Okay.
But I'll hold on to that for now, because this will be better as one clip segment as opposed to me having to edit throughout the middle. You boys always thinking about cutting back on work here.
Yep, make less work for yourself. Absolutely. And then after WrestleMania 41, we headed to the infamous roast of WrestleMania. Now, like I said, it was a bitch to leave WrestleMania and to get to the venue where this was being held, because it was in the same room as the Undertaker's One Dead Man show. The show was supposed to start at 9:30. Didn't start until 10:30. But it was worth the wait, because, oh my God, I have not laughed like that in so long. Like, my abs hurt. And the thing is, like, I was sleep deprived, which made things even more funny. But there were so many good jokes. I won't spoil too many, because I really do want this to get, I don't want our podcast to be taken down, but also, like, I want this to be broadcast somewhere. I want people to see how great it actually was. And I'll just tell you a couple of my highlights, because there were so many great stars there. So they kicked off with Tony. So of course it was hosted by Tony Hinchcliffe, but it was kicked off by his friend Matt Edgar. And he talked about being a wrestling fan forever and how he wanted to be Jeff Hardy when he grew up. And the closest he ever got to being Jeff Hardy was when he and his brother were decorating for Christmas and he fell off the ladder. So the doctor gave him oxycodone.
Oh my God. Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah. And then Tony came out and told a ton of awesome jokes. And then The Miz came out and told some jokes. Then Pat McAfee came out and told maybe one or two jokes. The man talked for maybe 2 minutes. It was ridiculous. Like, as at most. And then he just sat at the table and smoked weed. I believe up next was Braun Strowman. And then we got his buddy Jeff Dye. And this joke really got me. Like, I was crying. He was talking about how growing up he wasn't a wrestling fan, but all of his friends were showing him wrestling. And he's like, this is so gay. You know, the typical response. But then his friends were showing him Shawn Michaels. Like, isn't this guy the greatest of all time? You're all gay!
Why don't you ask your sister and your mama, and they'll tell you just how gay Shawn Michaels is.
Period. This is so good.
And then he makes out with Triple H at the goddamn Hall of Fame.
I loved it. It was
Amazing.
It was
It was
beautiful.
incredible. What a fucking
Incredible.
moment.
Sami Zayn came out and he was all, guys, I was really excited for this. I have a reputation as a good guy. I have great relationships with my peers and with my coworkers. I really am a likable guy. I really don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. But I wrote down some jokes and I feel like I let my dark side out a little bit on this one. So, you know what? I'm just not going to tell these jokes. I'm going to leave. Sorry, guys. Bye. And as he's leaving, Tony Hinchcliffe comes up and grabs the papers out of Sammy's hands. And he's like, don't worry, Sammy. I'll tell your jokes. Nobody will be mad at you. Sammy was one of, if not the funniest joke writer of the evening. And I can't even remember most of them, but Tony gets to one of the cards and he goes, hey, this one's about me. And he goes, you're known for your show, Kill Tony. Well, now all of us are just waiting for you to fucking die.
It's very Sami Zayn humor, I'll say. Jesus Christ.
So good. It's so good. I love him. And, oh gosh, I'm so bad. I can't remember if his name is David Lucas or Lucas David, but he came out and he was pronouncing Nia Jax, which was annoying. Paul Heyman came out. Top of the night.
Yeah, the two big splashes that I heard were Paul Heyman and Nia Jax got in a lot of... Not necessarily they got in trouble or they have heat for this, but a lot of the fans are saying those were by far the most cancelable performances. Yeah, troublesome performances of the night.
I didn't see that with Nia Jax, but maybe that's just because I was rolling my eyes the whole time because her delivery was not good. Like, you know what her promos sound like. Imagine her trying to tell jokes.
Yeah.
Didn't go well. But back to Paul. When he came out, there were ECW chants, there were Paul E chants, there was raucous applause. And he made a joke about Fluffy, who I didn't even mention. Fluffy came out. He had a couple jokes. Apparently that didn't sit right with him. So then Fluffy gets up and he's like interrupting Paul and not letting him speak. And it got hella awkward and threw off the energy for the rest of the night, kind of. Which was really annoying because nobody likes him anyway.
That's a statement. Jesus.
Who likes Fluffy?
Like, I've never heard people not like Fluffy. That's a crazy opinion.
Listen.
I've never watched his stuff. But I know he is crazy beloved. This is like you being like, who the fuck likes Jack Black?
You take that back.
That's what I'm saying!
That's my boy.
That's what I'm saying! When I shave my mustache, I look like Jack Black. That's why I have a mustache. It's a problem.
I love that for you. You know what? I love that for you. Fun fact, that is Awkwafina in the most recent Kung Fu Panda 4 movie, talking alongside Jack Black.
I haven't watched Kung Fu Panda 1, 2, or 3. What makes you think I'd watch Kung Fu Panda 4?
I'm out. Bye, guys.
Thank God!
They're good!
Now nobody's making fun of my mustache.
Hey, chat, tell August how good Kung Fu Panda is. Maybe not number 4, but like 1 and 2 are miraculous. Number 3 is really good. You got Bryan Cranston in it, for crying out loud.
Who's that?
Dad from Malcolm in the Middle. Oh, the guy from...
The fact you would say the dad from Malcolm in the Middle and not Walter White from Breaking Bad is fucking wild. I'm
not Vince!
I know who Bryan Cranston is, but the fact she goes, he's the dad from Malcolm in the Middle. Like, I've seen Malcolm in the Middle, ma'am.
I've never seen Breaking Bad, but I've seen Malcolm in the Middle.
I've never seen Malcolm in the Middle.
You should. I feel like you'd really like it. Anyway. Back to Paul Heyman. Alongside Sami Zayn, GOAT of the night, amazing work. Everybody else was sitting at a table on stage. Paul Heyman took off stage and left. So I don't know if that was because of Fluffy or if that was the plan all along. As he's walking off, some dingbat comes rolling on roller skates, wearing some sort of prosthetic arm and some weird headgear, carrying donuts. Turns out it was fucking Carrot Top. Who the fuck likes Carrot Top?
Okay, I'm ending this. This is...
Go ahead. But anyway, no, Carrot Top comes out and he's like, I've been a wrestling fan for years. I watch wrestling all the time. I have no idea who the fuck that was, talking about Paul Heyman. And he's like, get out! No one invited you!
I did! I fucking love Carrot Top!
Oh my god, you and Tyrell are gonna have conversations when he gets home. You hear me? Anyway, so Braun and Carrot Top are sitting together. Of course, Braun Strowman's gonna eat all the fucking donuts. Duh. R-Truth comes out and tells a few jokes. He didn't even, roast anybody. He just came out and told some racist jokes, which, it's R-Truth. He's great. We love him. I was bored. I love him, though. Let's see. Who else? Obviously, Nia Jax. So, then, we're getting towards the end of the show. And Tony pulls out his notebook and he says, I've got some leftover jokes that I didn't get to tell earlier. Would you guys like for me to share some? And he's sitting next to the Miz and they're looking at his notebook together. He's like, oh, tell that one. Oh, tell that one. And my favorite joke of the night. And it's not even good. It just really sat with me. And Tony goes, why does Finn Balor look like he's gotten his dick stuck in a bird feeder? Why does it make sense? And why is that so funny?
Darling Destiny Diamond, everybody. Darling Destiny Diamond.
Anyway, so Tony's reading a few jokes, and then all of a sudden, time to play the game. Triple H comes out. And he comes out and he says, everybody needs a friend that'll tell them when it's time to shut the fuck up. And apparently I don't have any friends because everybody let me ramble on at the Hall of Fame. So he looks over and he goes, Tony, shut the fuck up. And he tells, honestly, I think Triple H was the best roaster of the night. It was so good. He looks over and he goes, who the fuck is paying Carrot Top to be here?
See?
Okay.
See? That's why I love Carrot Top. That's why I love
so
Carrot
good.
Top.
Oh, Triple H had some masterclass roasts. It was phenomenal and the perfect way to end the roast and for me to end my WrestleMania weekend.
Well, there you folks have it. In the first ever podcast special, I think is what we're going to call this. You got to hear the backstory of Miss Destiny Diamond at her time at WrestleMania 41.
You girls got the exclusive insider scoop. So anything else you guys want to know, please drop it below in the comments or send me a DM on Instagram at Ashley_from_wrestling_. Which
will be tagged in the description if I remember to do that. But yeah, check out the podcast episode going up tomorrow. Pretty crazy. Ow, ow! Woo! And have a good night.